Step 1 is easy. Shower, shave and moisturize, deodorant, contacts, go. So many people are like amazed by contacts too, because they're like, how can you touch your eye? And I'm like, I've been doing it since I was like 13 years old. So, I digress. Okay, makeup time. Sorry, the angle is kind of bad. I'll like make sure like zoom in and stuff for you. But I'm not really doing anything today, because I hope no one is. But I wanted to put like my jeans on and then a shirt and stuff for me to do my homework. So that's what we're going for. Nice, natural, neutral makeup. I use foundation for concealer because, you know, it comes in a bigger bottle and it works really good. So literally all I do, I use my finger because I'm cheapo. I literally just do this and I dot on both sides, and I'm gonna use a mirror now because it's hard on this tiny phone screen. But literally, you don't want to like rub very much, but like literally just dab onto your face. And I always like, I only do this part of my face because otherwise my face breaks out really bad. So like I usually do one layer and then I go in, because I know I'm doing eyeshadow. If I'm not doing eyeshadow, I don't usually do this step, but you just take like a tiny bit and you just dot it like one there and one there, and that just like puts like a little bit of like a nice base. And you want to blend it all the way up, like not to your eyebrow but like close to that area. Just kind of like gives it a little bit more like smoothing over, I guess. And then I go back in with another like small dot, and I go back, especially like right here. I don't know if you can see, I get really dark like spots, so I go like extra. But you have to do it once it's like dry, I guess, or you can use powder and do it right away. I don't know, this is my bootleg method. All this stuff that I do is kind of bootleggy. And like the main thing that like gets people, oh, and I wipe my finger on my arm because it's just easier. And it blends in because it's foundation. The main thing that gets people is when you get like this like line right here. So really, like, even if you don't see it, just kind of like if you pull a little, it's fine, but just try to like dab it out, you know, especially like in the corners here, that kind of thing. Less is more, people. Step is, let's do our eyebrows. I have this really fancy dancy little pencil thing, and it literally has a spoolie brush on one side, and like, I'll just show you. It kind of like, it's like a really light, you can't even see that. Oh, look at that swatch. It's just like really light, and it also rubs off, which I really like, because then if you like make a mistake, you can just literally wipe it off, and but it like still stays in your brows. I don't know, it's weird. But this is how I do my brows. I literally take both ends off. I take the spoolie and I just comb them into a shape that I like. So like I usually comb up first. I don't know how well you can see this. I'm so sorry. I feel like I need to like bend down, but I couldn't get this any higher, so. I like comb up like this and just like kind of off to the side and down, because I like the way that they lay then. And same on the other side. This is my good side, so I'll probably be showing you that one more. And then I take this and I kind of hold it like, not like straight on, but I hold it like a little bit to an angle. And you literally, I'm gonna try to like, you got it. I literally just go like this, and it looks really bad at first, trust me. So I kind of just like try to follow like the hair pattern a little bit, and that looks a little bit tragic, but do you see how there's like something down here and like too much out here? So what you can either do is like out here you can fill it in a little bit, which might be like a little bit, this is a little bit too strong for me. So then all I do is, again, use my finger, and I literally just like wipe it away. And I kind of wipe the edges away because I don't like that like super harsh look. And then I'm just gonna fill in a little bit over here too. I hope you can see that. But just like this. And that's like a little intense for neutral makeup, but it like kind of works better than if you, I always do this no matter what, but you just kind of like comb through it again, which kind of like softens it. And literally there's like barely a difference. This one's a little bit more like sparse than this one, so you can like barely tell the difference. Let me see if I can get like better lighting for you. But that one is just like really filled in, and this one still needs like a little bit of like shaping and stuff. And you can go as dark as you want, but because we're doing neutral makeup, we're not gonna worry about it too much. And there's just like a spot in the middle that I just filled in. So do that again. On camera, it looks a little wonky. In person, it doesn't look so wonky. And I kind of like to do like a far up close, like because people are gonna see you like far away and up close, so just kind of like zoom in and out of the mirror. And yeah, if one side, like this side, it tends to get a little bit darker because it's like I have like thicker brows on that side. Just like see, is it like too intense? Like, do you need a few extra like, oh, well, we don't want that. An important step is to always spoolie like before and after, because you want them to like lay nicely. So there's two methods of blush that I always do, and the reason I always do blush is to like basically blend in like that line of foundation, and it just like kind of gives it a little bit of a cover. So I have this like really crappy like peachy blush, which is super like neutral and it barely shows up. Or what you can do is take like a liquid lipstick and just put like little dots and like blend that in. I usually do that if it's like fancier makeup that like takes more makeup. So for this, I literally just like grab some, and I usually blend my foundation down to like here, so I try to like blend that in and not make my blush like too intense. But then again, remember like while you're rubbing your face, it's getting redder, so if it looks overly pink, don't like freak out at first, kind of let it like fade. And then sometimes I also will like just do a little bit like right in between my nose and my cheek, and that gives it like the sun-kissed feel, because my nose is already red, so I kind of like to like just blend that in a little bit so it doesn't look too unnatural. And this blush is sparkly, so you can sparkle too. Okay, eyeshadow. The main event. So like the brush is like the main thing that like helps me get like the look that I want, because it's like it's a blending brush. It's just like an eye blending brush, but you can also use this tiny one I use for like details. It's like literally just like a tiny paintbrush. And then the second one, which is if you're going for a more intense look, is basically like a tiny brush. This one's called like eye defining. I don't know, these are like Mary Kay brushes, so. But this one I use if I really want to get some like color and I really want to like pack it in, if that makes sense. Or as just like another brush, and I usually use darker colors on this one. But you're gonna take your palette. I love this one, it's from TJ Maxx, Pixie. I don't know if they still have it, but it's really nice because they're all super sparkly. But I'm gonna show you like a neutral look, and I usually go to, so this shade is super light and I use that as a base, or I'll use this one as a base if we want to go a little darker, the peach as a base if I want to go like pretty neutral. This one is more of like a highlighter shade, so I usually stay away from that one and go for like one of these two, but I do use it as a base a lot too if we're going for like a really bright look. So we're gonna go with so I literally just take like a bunch on that brush, and remember we already put our foundation down, so you just kind of go in and you put that, this is crappy lighting, I'm sorry, I'm gonna try this way. You just go in and you put that all over the lid, and you can't really, you can't really see it that well. That's okay, because you're going for a neutral look. But this one's kind of fun because it's like very slightly shimmery, and then it's also peach. And that's it. It's literally so easy. And I always stick to the lid at this point, because if you start blending it up like towards your eyebrows, it just doesn't look as good. Okay. Then this is my bootleg technique. Just wipe it off on the arm. So this is what I would do if I was just going neutral, and then I'd like curl my eyelashes and like make it look pretty. But I want to show you like how I would like glam it up a little bit more. So you can either use like a new brush or the same brush if you're lazy like me. And you're gonna take a shade. I typically don't use these dark ones down here because they're like so incredibly dark. You're gonna try to go for like a shade that's like neutral. So I wouldn't pick this pink because it's like overly pink. I would go for more like a gold because that goes with my skin tone. And like the blue eyes, like peaches, golds, browns, those all look good. So just in the interest of making this neutral, I'm gonna go with this one. This one's a little dark. You can either mix or just go really light with this one. So like just like don't dip too much. And then all you do, oh geez. Okay, so basically you took a small dip of that like darker color and you're just gonna like, so what I do is I divide my eye into like thirds. So you have like the inner third, the middle third, and the outer third. And with this one, you don't want to like go super far where it's like out to here and you're like, oh crud, like messed up. But you literally just go on the outer third and you kind of just like paint it on. Like you can always add more, so like don't go too much at first, but just like add it until you start to see some color. And you try to keep it to like the outer half to like the outer third. I would say it's like more half than I thought, but I always try to keep it outside. So as you can see, maybe you can't, just like if you're doing it yourself, you can see it gives like a little bit more definition to like the outside of your eye. So you take that, I'm gonna do this again on this side. Hopefully you can see. The lighting in my bathroom is not the best right now. Okay, and I'm just gonna add a little more because why the heck not? Okay, so then the next thing you're gonna do is after you have that color like all kind of like on there, it might look kind of blended, but it's really not. So what you're gonna do, bootleg, I'm actually gonna use the tiny brush too, make sure there's nothing on there. You're gonna take your like lighter shade. So for me, that was like that really light highlighter one. Go just like a tiny bit on the inside. You can kind of tell. But I'm basically like, remember the thirds again, you go on the inner third, like really close to like right the inner corner right there, but still be on top of the eyelid. Let me try to give you a close-up. Just like right there. So you're not trying to go like into the middle, you're just trying to keep it on that like inner bit. Okay, so now that that's done, you're gonna go back in with this brush and like make sure it's kind of clean. And remember that base color that we used? So I used this one as the base, I used this one as the highlight, and I used this one as the dark one. So we're gonna use this base color again, and you're gonna go straight in the middle and just kind of like, just slightly blend both of them together. Sorry, I can't see. Just like literally super slightly. And if it's like darker colors, you might need to do that a little more and then add more like of the highlight color again, or more of the darker color. Now, if you're going more neutral, I wouldn't like go back and do this again, but if you're doing more glam, like go ham with the dark color because you always think it looks darker than it is. And the colors I have like blend pretty well together too, which is really nice, so I never really worry about that being an issue. So then, while I actually still have this open, I like to take, where did that tiny one? This tiny one, and I'll go into this light shade again, and I'll go basically at like this part of your eye, but you're trying not to get it in your eye and you're trying not to make it look super like unblended. So it's just like a little highlight, and you really want to highlight right here. which you can't really see because it's really dark in here, but you know what? I'll show you a better like photo at the end. You'll have a nice little end to the movie. I always blend it up just a tiny bit because you're using the same shade that you use on the inner like corner of your eyelid. So just kind of blend it up like that and blend it out. Because it's not super intense. It's just supposed to be like a little like, ooh, highlight. And then I usually dab it off a little bit too, because sometimes it's just like, whoa. And then again with the highlight, what you can do if you want is go back in. I always use my blush brush because like whatever. And you can use some of this and just highlight right. It's kind of like the same spot where like your foundation ends and your blush begins. You kind of highlight like that part of your cheekbone. And you can go like this to check it in the light. And my blush is already glittery, so I don't need too much of this, but that's kind of a glam step. Neutral, don't need that, skip it. So for your mascara, I'm basically using a technique with the eyelash curler that like makes it like a real curler. Basically you run it under hot water. It has to be metal, but you have to run it under hot water for a few seconds. And then you go in and you just curl your eyelashes, and it kind of just like, it makes them pop. Oh, this is good lighting right here. Way far away from the mirror. So this one you can see is like really curled. This one like is, because I tried to do it earlier, but it's like not as much. So what I've been doing for mascara, which is why like my eyelashes look like super long and like super spread out right now, is I've been using Vaseline, and I'll literally just take some between my thumb and my finger when I don't have makeup on, and just like go like this and kind of like comb through them, but I'm trying not to touch my eyelid, but like basically going like this with it so that they're all like nicely like done. And then I'll like curl them first, do that, and then go to bed, and then in the morning they're just like really nice. I don't know, I would try that if I were you. It's supposed to like make your eyelashes grow apparently. This is kind of like bent one way because I always use it this way. And I blink into my mascara, which is kind of funny, but like that's just how I do it. The finished look. I'm gonna go through really quick how the eyeshadow is supposed to be again, because that lighting was horrible. So let's see if I can juggle this. So you know the colors already. This is the like base shade, the like nice peach, or this one could work too. This is the dark shade, this is the highlight shade. Just to go through it again. So basically, you take your base like peachy shade, go all the way over your lid, just like normal lid, not up into the crease at all, nothing, just in the lid. Then you take your dark shade, and sometimes you can use like this end instead of the flat end of the brush, so like you can get it a little bit more precise. But you literally just kind of like paint it on that like outer like 1/3 to 1/2, just a bit, paint it on. Then you take your highlight shade, and I usually use a different brush because it's a light shade. You go into the inner third, and this one you really want to make sure it's just on that inner third. Finally, you take this again, wipe it on your arm so it's not gross. Take that medium shade again, the one that you used as a base, and just go in the middle and just slightly blend, and that will give you like this effect with the darker shade. See how it like goes up kind of into the crease, and like that. And if you want to be really fancy, you can use a little bit of the highlight shade up here too as well, under your eyebrows. Let me know if you have any other questions. I almost forgot, if you want to be super glam, put some chapstick on, and if you want to do like a little bit more like highlighting of your face, I usually don't contour because I don't have anything for that, because too cheap to buy it, but I take a little bit of like that like light highlighting shade, the one for the inner corner, and I put it like right here on my cupid's bow, on just like the little tip of my nose, under my eyebrows, like obviously right here like I showed you, just kind of like pops a little more. Plus I have this like natural like contouring thing going on right now, so we out here. All right.